Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Just wanted to go over a few items from last week and this week to come. Excuse some of the clutter behind me. It's kind of cluttered. I didn't realize that until I looked at the camera. So week 3, last week we talked about service area competitor analysis. Just another aspect, or kind of the next step of external analysis. So that was our topic for the past week. Obviously we talked a little bit about 5 forces framework. We had our group assignment. If you haven't already, please complete your self and peer assessment of the work that you did. And then obviously we had our quiz, excuse me, and our ed puzzle for last week. So this week to come, we're kind of taking the next step in the analysis process, and we're going to look at internal environmental analysis. So what's going on in the internal environment that impacts competitive advantage, that impacts your overall success, etc. Strengths and weaknesses. Remember when we started this 2 weeks ago, we started looking at external analysis. I had said, most everyone knows about a SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threats. So our external analysis are those opportunities and threats. That's how the external world impacts us. The internal analysis is the strengths and weaknesses. So that's internal environmental analysis. We'll make a determination of those. So we have a video from our friend at, what's her name? Emily, I think, or something like that. From our friend at Virtual Strategist. Great videos. Our discussion this week is, what is the difference between an objective and a subjective strength and weakness? So objective strength, objective weakness, subjective strength, subjective weakness, and talk about that this week. We do have a written assignment. So that's about strengths and weaknesses, which which characteristic of strengths and weaknesses, value, rareness, imitability, and sustainability, and that information is found in our readings. Which do you think is most important? So there's no right or wrong. It's based on your thought. And it probably depends on your experiences, on maybe where you've worked in the past. If you've worked in healthcare in the past, patients see things different than employees. And so when you're thinking about that, think about and try and think about it from all aspects. Think about it thinking as a health leader, think about it thinking as a patient, and hopefully it'll help you to kind of dig into that competitive advantage piece. Then we have our quiz and this ed puzzle. So let's take a look at the quiz questions from last week. So first question, service area competitor analysis begins with assessing service area competitive dynamics. And in your textbook, assuming you have the print version, starting on page 85 is where we step through the various aspects of service area competitor, service area competitor analysis, that entire process that's discussed in this chapter. And the very first step is to look at your external analysis. So we're not jumping right into those service area competitive dynamics right away. We're going to start with taking a look at our external analysis that we've already developed, hopefully, if we're working through this process, and how we fared there, to take a deeper dive into the competitors. So our answer here is false. Next question. In addition to defining its service area, a healthcare organization must analyze in detail relevant and important aspects of the service area. So our answer here is B. So we need to be looking at economic, demographic, psychographic, and disease pattern characteristics. The other answers, like at the bottom, product types, service delivery techniques, probably less important to examining the service area, might be important in our overall external analysis. Politically active group, faith preferences, generally not all that applicable, unless you are, of course, a faith-based organization. Faith preferences might be helpful, but generally that's not accurate. And then competitor service categories, prices, and strategic initiatives. Again, that might be helpful in looking at our overall external analysis, but not particularly into defining the service area. So, so you want to be looking at all of those aspects: economic, demographic, psychographic, and disease pattern characteristics. And I think I told the story probably in last week's video of going to receive care in Manhattan. My neurologist and my rheumatologist are both there, and you know, when that organization, Hospital for Special Surgery, is looking at their service area, it's very broad because of the disease pattern characteristics and that economic demographic data, socioeconomic data of that. Of the population that would come to see them. So because they provide such a unique service there, they have a much wider draw than just the New York metro area. They draw from all over. They draw from all over the country. I remember sitting in the waiting room and talking to someone that came in from somewhere in the Midwest, and I mentioned that to the physician, and she said, "Oh yeah, we have patients come from all over the country, sometimes across the world if they're looking for specific research studies." So really interesting. Hospital for Special Surgery is going to be really, looking at that demographic data, that psychographic data. Do people live a lifestyle that would allow them to do that? And then also those disease pattern characteristics. In what areas, will they, what areas should they advertise? What areas should they get their information out there so that patients, potential patients, will know that they provide the service? Next question. Organizations that compete in several different markets will find that their competitors in one of their markets will be the same as in all markets. So this is false. Organizations that compete in different markets have all sorts of different competitors. It wouldn't necessarily be one of the other would be the same. So think about think about the example I was just giving, Hospital for Special Surgery. Their competitor in New York City is New York Presbyterian, it's Columbia, it's all the different big hospital systems there in town. But their competitor, when they're drawing patients from upstate New York, is very different. Now, they're providing the same service to those patients, but they compete in multiple markets. Their competitors, when they're drawing from Connecticut, are different, from New Jersey are different, from northeastern Pennsylvania are different. So they're all very different competitors, but it's the same service that they're providing. Same thing could occur if you have an organization that is providing a bunch of different services. So you might have patients coming in that come to see you for lab services, but not necessarily for physician practice services. Your lab competitors could be things like Quest and LabCorp, and your physician practice competitors could be like AHN, UPMC, etc. So very different competitors. So our answer here is false. And that's all I've got there. So this week, like I said, we have the written assignment, the quiz, and the discussion. If you do have any questions, let me know. I think you've probably all seen at this point. I've pushed our live session to next Monday. I do have one immediately before from 6 to 7. I think ours is from 7 to 8. So if ours is from 7 to 8, trying to think of which one is first. I don't have my calendar in front of me, but I have two back-to-back, one at 6, one at 7. So if I'm late getting to one, if yours is at 7, I'm late, that's where I am. Or I might have to, if we're still talking, I may have to hop off because I do have a call immediately after with another class. So important to note there. If you do have any questions before then, please don't hold questions to that session. I'm available whenever. I'm always available via email. I'm always on my email. You can call, text, etc. I'm happy to set up a time in the classroom to meet or whatever it is that you might need. So that's all I've got. Any questions, just let me know. Thanks.